welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Have you ever been to camp meeting? Not the typical boys and girls camps of today where children and young people are taught canoeing and relay races and some scavenger hunts while mom and dad have a few quiet days at home, but a meeting where people come together to stay for a while and worship. The practice and memory of them, as things have a way of doing, have been gradually fading into the past so that their influence is felt less in our culture than it would at one time, and yet they held something worth knowing. If you have ever attended a good one, you likely know that. Back in the day, when our American nation was young and not yet crisscrossed with highways and railroads, when people lived on the edge of civilization, there arose zealous efforts to bring the gospel to the far-flung corners of our land. Maybe the granddaddy of them all was held at Cane Ridge, Kentucky in 1801. Some folks estimate as much as 10% of Kentucky's population attended that meeting, which went on for some time. The religious awakening of that era, the Holy Spirit gave our ancestors, spread through the nation. North, south, east, and west, people started holding camp meetings, which led to congregations being started, chapels built, souls saved. It's hard to find a town in America today without at least one building with a steeple and cross and a sign inviting the community to worship. The origins of so many of those pieces of Americana lie in camp meetings. Traveling ministers from various backgrounds tended to disregard the formalism and rituals that had characterized worship services in Europe's stately cathedrals. Priestly robes and elaborate rituals were ill-suited to a raw frontier. People sat on rough log benches set on ground covered with straw or sawdust. Sometimes arbors were built, shielding from the worst of sun and rain, but open on all sides to wind and nature. People knelt to pray, and the whole congregation joined in singing, "Holy, holy, holy, how firm a foundation," or even that old redemption anthem of the Christian faith, "There is a fountain." Don't you know they made the hillsides echo in rapture? Who attended these meetings? Records show a grand non-discrimination. There were rich and poor, young and old, men and women, all races equally welcome and free to participate. There wasn't any mass media to keep a bewitched populace at home staring at a flickering screen, but it would be wrong to imply most came only for entertainment. People got saved in those old meetings. The concepts that drew and inspired those old-timers have fallen out of vogue today. There was a deep emphasis on repenting of sins and a call for people who were redeemed to seek for entire sanctification by the infilling of the Holy Spirit. This doctrine led naturally to teaching and practicing the principles of holy living. Those old camp meetings tended to de-emphasize theology and instead focus on revival, with ministers from different backgrounds unitedly urging on folks to conversion and morality. George Jones captured some of the spirit of those old meetings in his gospel song, Brush Arbors. Old brush arbors, it says, by the side of the road, where a sinner could lay down his heavy load. It was in those old brush arbors troubled souls found peaceful harbors, in brush arbors by the side of the road. And in another stanza, old brush arbors by the side of the road, where the mighty light of God's great mercy flowed. There was praying, shouting, singing, till the countryside was ringing, in brush arbors by the side of the road. Today, the superhighway speeds bustling travelers past a simple lane where the old camp meeting ground lies quietly overgrown with weeds and echoes. But the powerful spirit that moved our forefathers is as available to us today, along with the soul deliverance that they found. Jesus still says, "Stand at the door and knock, and if any man open the door, I will sup with him, and he with me." Have you talked to God today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfiveminutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.